today was the checkout date for the Airbnb that we were in. It's also the day that she's leaving to go back to Nice in the south of France, and the problem is that I didn't think checkout was today. I screwed up. So we had to very quickly find another Airbnb for me to stay in, and this is it. I'm Brian Baker. This time on Burnouts and Rotorblades, we're in France to check out some castles. Welcome to the Burnouts and Rotorblades YouTube channel. Let's go do something awesome. It is a pleasure to be back with you, and in this video we're going to continue our series on exploring these castles in France, and today is one that I'm particularly excited about. I didn't actually even think I was going to get to come. Before we dive into that, I just want to say thank you to Natasha. She actually had to go back to Nice today, but I want to say a real serious thank you for everything that she did to try to help get me around and translate for me. It's difficult to get around in France without speaking the language, and she made things infinitely easier, or even possible in some cases. In case you don't speak the language and you still want to come, you can get around quite easily with, just Google Maps. It'll tell you if you're going to take a train and stuff like that. It'll tell you how to do that. It's very, very helpful. I mostly use it for walking around, so if you only use it for driving, know that you can also use it for walking. Oh my god. Well, we're here. My initial impressions of this castle are already, it's very impressive. Just the video that they showed inside, and the fact that they have these little translators for you, so that whenever you walk around you can hear the stories without paying for a guided tour, is awesome. The downside about the guided tours like they had in Paris, where they didn't have any in English, they just didn't. I'm pretty excited about this. It looks like they have some kind of relics of how they produce energy for this place. This is super cool. I'm just gonna say right now, just based on what I can see out here in the front, in the very beginning of the tour, that this is already cooler and more functional than the Vitry Castle. So if you watch that Vitry video, if you're thinking about going to Vitry and you have the choice between Vitry or Fougeres, come to Fougeres. It's a little bit harder because the main train line goes past Vitry, so that one's really simple to navigate. Otherwise you have to navigate the bus lines, and since they don't have an English translation, it can be a little more difficult. And not only is the actual castle really pretty and mostly intact, but the city is just old school Gothic. It looks like up here we have the classic, archer's holes, another spot where people can see through. So if you were coming up on the entranceway right here, and they didn't want you here, it'd be pretty simple for them to shoot some arrows at you. Kind of an exciting thing about this castle is that there are sections of it that are just not finished. Like they didn't do anything to it. It just is what it is. Here's like the floor, for instance, of this third level of the tower house, and this is the first castle that I was actually able to go up into the tower house. They have these, these stained glass windows that overlook the entryway, all the arrow holes that overlook the water, and the entryway bridge, and it's just not finished. It's like the old wood is still up here. It's got, clearly termite damage and stuff. This is awesome. This is like barn find castle. A little bit. So yeah, let's continue on. I'm gonna go back downstairs. It is seriously the first one that I found where you're allowed to go into the entryway house, where they would have had the sliding gates, but they don't have the sliding gates, unfortunately. Here's another level of it. We're down to the second level of it. Or I guess, yeah, the second level of it. So there's the ground floor, the first level, second level. We just came from the third level, which was above us. And yeah, you're allowed to go into all this. That's awesome. Or at least, nobody's told me not to. So this one looks pretty cool. It looks like they have water that flows through the castle, which probably a big deal back in, that time that the castle was built. Another level of protection. So you got like the main entryway, and you got this other bridge where you could be assaulted from many directions, and then this one up here. So cool. Some serious freaking stairs. Oh, not only are they rebuilding this wall, but they're rebuilding an entire tower. So I guess this is in the middle of a really big restoration project. You can see actually there's a wall that goes all the way around the whole area. So this outer wall would have been massive. Then there's the big church, another church. I think that's like a train station. Not 100% sure on that one. Another church behind it. There's more like kind of not wall but cliff back there. And then I'm sure there's more wall back there. We'll find out later. This whole complex is absolutely massive.
Walls 3.6 meters thick, and to make it even more solid, we incorporated these granite ties.
Pretty wild, but let's do it. This is super cool. You can just crawl around this thing. Trebuchet. French battle advancement. That's why it's got that gay name. Trebuchet. I want to beat you up with it. Trebuchets are cool. Colin Fougeres on YouTube has a really cool video about taking a trebuchet and using it to launch washing machines into a farm field. He built a really huge one for whatever reason. So this is kind of cool, the displays they have, and I also like the fact that they have these, these little markers. One talks about compulsive military service and how, there was different punishments for different levels. They would be beaten in public, and then you would have an ear cut off, and then you'd be hanged, depending on your inability to show up for compulsory military service. Pretty awesome stuff that they're sharing here. This is the first one that's had English translation as part of its display, which is awesome. Not only does it have English, but it actually has Braille, so it caters to a lot of different handicapped people. Now I've been walking around this section down here, and it's pretty cool, but there's like a battle going on up here, so let's go see what's going on upstairs. This is the tower that was said to be completed the most recently, and it is the one that they modified for cannons to be shot in all directions around this entire piece. And I think here they're trying to display that what these little nubs were for was sheltering of the troops that were up here. I love that they have English at this one. It goes to show that they're expecting a different clientele. This place is so cool. And the little bit of fog that's out here, it just really adds to the whole experience. And then, the French people speaking French in the background. Now we're going to go up to what was a much later addition to the castle, like a really big thing that they built. It looks like they're starting to rebuild this wall up higher. I don't know if they'll go all the way up to the point where it looked like it used to be, because that's absolutely massive. And the base of it was just crazy thick. I think it said something like 3 meters or 3.6 meters thick. Craziness. Oh look, more murder holes. All right, more presentations. Now this is one of my favorite things over here to see in these castles. It's a weird thing, I know, but basically the toilets Now, one thing they don't usually talk about is that the stairs themselves were a technological advance. By turning around to the right, if I had a sword in my hand, I could not have as easy of a time to hurt somebody as they could if they were coming down the stairs to hit me. So you'll notice all the castles that we've been to beforehand, if you watch those videos, all the stairs went to the right as well. Aha. It is not locked. Very clever. That was probably made out of stone back in the day. Now we're at the highest point in the valley, and holy shenanigans. This is like the main part of the keep. This is where, if all the other defenses failed, this is where the family's going to come back to be protected, and all the townspeople will just do the best they can out that way. Big section right here was another like central keep that was, they were unsure if it was ever finished. They don't really know. Archaeologically, you can't tell if it went all the way up and got destroyed or if it just never made it all the way up. You can really see how wide the walls were for that, at least the plan of those walls. I think these are wood. People graffiti on these things. It's terrible.
A rocky outcrop overlooking the narrow, winding valley of the river Nanson was chosen as the site for Fougeres Castle just before the year 1000. There was little sign of human presence in the surrounding forests and marshes, dotted with small castles in the form of wooden towers. This was the period of motte and bailey castles and of seigneurial power. It was also a time of war between neighboring principalities. On one side, the Duchy of Brittany, seeking to establish its eastern borders. On the other, Normandy, Mayenne, and Anjou.
I gotta get going. Well, I just realized it's almost 5, and I don't remember what time it said that this place closes, but I'd like to see the rest of it before it does, so I gotta hurry. It said that over the course of like 400 years, the battlements in this area changed to incorporate new battle technology during its heyday. Heyday started in around the year 1000. This castle has been absolutely awesome. I would definitely recommend it, maybe even over Vitry, the castle that we explored in the last video. If you haven't seen that one, click up there to go see it. The town around it, there's so much stuff that we haven't even got to, and I don't think I'm gonna get to this time. Hit the subscribe button down below, notification bell for notifications. I appreciate you joining me this time, and I want to give a big shout out to Natasha and all the help that she gave me, and we'll see you next time. So here's my Airbnb at night now. Super old. It's super bright and like kind of like cutesy at night or in the daytime, but it's not too shabby at night either. Electric heat. It's super warm in here. That's the bed. It's just a little like loft. Now this was built a long time ago, so some care has to be taken for, you know, tall people if you're over like, I don't know, 5'5". But aside from that, tiny little kitchenette, you know, other kitchen stuff. Ooh, candy. That was a bad idea for her to leave. I'm crushing those. Coffee and the shower and vanity. I mean, exactly what you would need. And this place was really inexpensive, as it turns out. The manager speaks really, really good English, has family in the US and stuff. She's French, but then I'm her first ever renter in this place, so I think it's pretty awesome, especially for the price. And if you happen to be in Rennes, then this is the place to be. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the content and want to see more like it. And as always, thanks for watching.
Huh? Like you're laughing like this?
No, you're fine. Now I'm gonna put that in the video just so you know. What can you say? I have nothing in my teeth.